A new political contest is unfolding in one of the Kenya's most influential regions. At the center of it is deep divisions, shifting loyalties and battle for the future of opposition politics. Siaya Governor James Orengo has emerged as the central figure, challenging the growing influence of William Ruto within traditional opposition strongholds, setting the stage for the significant political realignment ahead of the 2027 general election. The contest is already drawing sharp reactions from the government allies who are warning residents in the Nyanza region against supporting a movement that seeks to limit the president to a single term in office. The political landscape in Western Kenya is now shifting, and what once considered a stable opposition stronghold is now experiencing internal divisions as leaders within the Orange Democratic Movement take different positions on how to engage with the current government. At the center of this divide is Governor James Orengo, who is positioning himself as a leading voice in the movement known as Linda Mwananchi. The movement is gaining attention for its clear political objective and to challenge President William Ruto's re-election bid and promote the idea of a single-term presidency. This marks a departure from another faction within the same political party that is advocating for the cooperation within or rather with the government. The rival faction is led by Oburu Oginga, who assumed office and leadership of the party following the death of Raila Odinga in October 2025. Since then, the party has effectively split into two camps. One side is aligned with the government and supporting President Ruto's re-election agenda. The other side, led by Orengo, is pushing for political change and is openly critical of the current arrangement between some party members and the national government. This division is not only political, it is also strategic, and leaders aligned with the government argue that working with those in power provides an opportunity to deliver development and resources to to their regions. They warn that returning to a purely opposition stance could isolate the region and limit access to the national programs and funding. On the other hand, Orengo and his allies are focusing on accountability and political independence. They question the legitimacy of the cooperation between some ODM leaders and the government, arguing that it lacks clear legal or institutional framework. This disagreement reflects a deeper debate about the direction of the party and the role it should play in Kenya's political system. The tensions are becoming more visible as both sides intensify their campaigns on the ground, and government allies have launched efforts to consolidate support in the Nyanza region, urging voters to remain aligned with the ruling coalition under the United Democratic Alliance. At the same time, Orengo's camp is mobilizing support through rallies and grassroots engagements, presenting itself as an alternative voice within the party. These parallel campaigns highlight the growing competition of influence over the region that has long been politically unified. For decades, Nyanza has been a stronghold for opposition politics, with voters showing consistent loyalty to single political direction. However, recent developments suggest that this unity is now being tested, and the emergence of two distinct factions within ODM has introduced new dynamics, making the region more politically competitive than before. With the pro-government faction, several senior leaders have taken prominent roles in advocating for cooperation, and they include party chairperson Gladys Wanga and deputy party leader Abdulswamad Nasir. Together with Oburu Oginga, they are promoting what has become known as the two-term position, which supports President Ruto serving at a full 10-year tenure. In the contracts, Orengo's group, often referred to as one-term camp, has attracted a different set of leaders. Among them are Edwin Sifuna, Godfrey Ososi, and also Babu Wino, and this group is actively campaigning against a second term for the president, framing their position as part of the broader push for political accountability. Beyond the internal party dynamics, the influence of Orengo's movement is beginning to extend into wider opposition politics. Some leaders associated with the Linda Mwananchi initiative are now working to build alliances beyond Nyanza. Their efforts include outreach in regions such as Kisii and Nyamira, where they are seeking to broaden support for an alternative political direction. These efforts are also linked to discussions around potential presidential candidates for the 2027 election. Among the names being mentioned is Fred Matiang'i, a former cabinet secretary and a leader within Jubilee Party. While no formal decision has been made, this early alignment suggests that the political landscape could become more fragmented as the election approaches. And in response to these developments, the pro-government leaders within ODM have launched their own campaign known as Linda Ground. The goal of this initiative is to strengthen support for President Ruto in areas that have traditionally backed the opposition. This includes increasing engagement with the local communities and reinforcing the message that cooperation with the government brings tangible benefits. The competing campaigns, that is Linda Mwananchi and Linda Ground, are now shaping the political conversation in the region. They represent two different divisions for the future of ODM and its role in national politics. At the heart of this contest is the legacy of Raila Odinga, whose leadership defined the party for decades, and this death created a leadership vacuum that has yet to be fully resolved. The current divisions reflect the challenge of maintaining unity in a party that has long been built around a single influential figure, and for many voters, this moment represents a choice between continuity and change. And one side is the argument for working within the existing system to achieve development goals, and on the other is the call for a return to more independent opposition stance focused on holding the government accountable. Governor Orengo's long political history adds another layer to this debate. He is widely known for his role in Kenya's pro-democracy movement, particularly during the struggle for multi-party politics in the early 1990s. This background gives him credibility among sections of the electorate who value his consistent stance on governance and reform. At the same time, his critics argue that his approach may not align with the current political realities, where collaboration with the national government is seen by some as necessary for regional development. This difference in perspective is now playing out across the region as leaders seek to influence public opinion ahead of the next election cycle. For President Ruto, the developments in Nyanza present both an opportunity and challenge. The presence of the pro-government faction within ODM offers a pathway to expand support in a region that has historically been outside its political base. However, the emergence of a strong opposing movement led by Orengo introduces uncertainty. It also raises the possibility that the vote in the region could be divided, reducing the level of support any single candidate can secure. As the 2027 general election approaches, these dynamics are expected to become more pronounced. Political allies and alliances will continue to evolve, and the balance of power within ODM will likely remain a key factor in shaping the broader opposition landscape. For now, the situation remains fluid, and both sides are actively engaging with the public, presenting their visions and seeking to build momentum, and the outcome of this contest will not only determine the future direction of ODM but also could influence the overall political trajectory of the country. In a region long defined by unity of purpose, the emerging divisions now signal a new chapter, one where the battle for political direction may shape the future of the Kenya's opposition for years to come. That is all for today from Kenya Lens Media, and kindly, if you are new here, consider subscribing as a way of motivating us and also helping this platform grow.